Yeah, Daniel, this is apparently such a deep draft on tight ends. How do you assess the top, I don't know, three or four guys, and what is your differentiating between Tyler Warren and Loveland, and is there a gap between those two and the rest of the group?
I think there is a gap between those two and the rest of the group. I think those two guys are two of the top, 7 players in the draft class. And it's just with them, specifically, I think it's just a flavor thing. What do you value? What do you prefer? Loveland, a little more quickness off the line, a little more quickness at the top of routes, can really create separation. Warren is just a big, massive bully who's going to wall guys off down the field. I think he's better on the move, whereas Loveland, if you're talking about, gearing down and working back to the quarterback, he's going to be a little more comfortable there. Whereas I think Warren, you run him down the seam, you're running on overs, doing those types of things, and he's a bully when the ball's up in the air, and he's a pain to get on the ground. So, stylistically different. I would give Warren the edge in the run game, but Loveland competes in that department as well. So, I have them touching each other on my list, not just at the tight end position, but overall. Warren's at 6 and Loveland's at 7. So then to me, there's a little bit of a drop off. And then I think there's some real interesting guys. And I think, I talked to a bunch of teams over the last couple weeks, and the longer we go through the process and guys start getting weeded out with medical character, different things that that happen this time of year. Mason Taylor to me is he's an emerging player, and that everybody's comfortable with him. He's a safe player. He's rock solid. He had a nice week at the Senior Bowl. Obviously, everybody knows about, his dad and his uncle with Jason Taylor and Zach Thomas, and the kid's been around football his whole life. But he's one of those guys when you're talking to teams, you're like, hey, if you got wiped out, who would be your guy? And well, if we got wiped out, we could just take Mason Taylor. He's going to start for us for the next, 8-10 years. It's a really steady, solid player. So I think he goes in the back half of 1. At worst, he goes early 2. And then you get a Tracy player, and Elijah Arroyo from Miami, who can really fly, who's had some injuries you got to work around. And then Harold Fannin from Bowling Green, who's got a ton of production and stepped up in big games against A&M and Penn State. And then I would say Terrence Ferguson. So I would do the tier with Warren and Loveland. I would say then you get to the Taylor, Arroyo, Fannin group, and Ferguson's right there, right behind those guys for me.